On today's podcast, we talk about the upcoming fight this weekend between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. We discuss NFL quarterbacks, and we also talk about Kevin Durant not wanting to visit the White House.
What are your words doing after you make your protest, right? I really haven't heard Kevin Durant saying anything other than I'm not going, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't come out and said, this is why, and laid it out. And I can understand some people out there may be like, well, duh, Chris, it's obvious. But you have to explain what you're doing. LeBron James sent out a tweet not too long ago. I agreed with most of it, and he started slamming Trump. And I'm like, well, we're missing the point here. If we're saying President Trump is unfit for office because of the way he speaks, and then you say all the things he does wrong, and then at the end of it, say, oh, he sucks. You're just like him. You're no different, right?
That's true.
You're tuned into the New Channel Sports Podcast, the ultimate sports talk podcast.
Welcome to the New Channel Sports Podcast. You are listening to Enyi. It's like deja vu. Across from me is Chris. What is up, man?
What's good, man? I'm ready to get to it.
And standing straight across from me with an Indians hat on. Is that an Indians hat on? That's what you got on?
Yep.
Your boy Trey. What's up, Trey?
Not much, man. What's up? It's not Indian Nation. You know who I rep. Why don't you say it one time?
Steeler Nation.
Say it one time.
Steeler Nation. That's who you're at.
Say what's up to my boys one time.
Your boys?
Yeah. Cowboy Nation. You want to say what's up to Cowboy Nation?
Bulls on parade?
What about Laker Nation? No?
No. Can't do it.
All right.
Won't do it. Can't do it.
Well, we're back anyway.
If you say so. So anyway, we had technical difficulties. That's why I said deja vu. This will be our second time doing a 20th episode. So, but anyway, it's all good. We're into the 20th episode now. What are we going to jump into? What do you want to jump into? I'll let Chris decide what we're going to jump into. Just jump into something.
Let's start off with KD.
KD?
Yeah,
Kevin Durant?
Let's do Kevin Durant.
I know that's your favorite ball player in the whole wide world.
He's a great hooper, man. He's right up there with the great ones.
Right.
But behind LeBron.
Kevin Durant refuses, or he said he will not go to the White House if they're invited or whatever, because he doesn't like who's in office. And, this is the sun that's happening now, I guess. Stuff like this. Opinions, thoughts on that?
I always find it difficult when athletes say they're not going to the White House because of who the president is or who the president may not be, because it's still the Oval Office, right? Held in such high esteem, and you may not have another opportunity to go there again. You don't have to like the president. I don't see why you would take it as such a personal thing. You're going up there, you win a championship, you can shake his hand or not shake his hand. That really doesn't matter. But to come out in public and say, I'm not going, it almost has a sense of just kind of hate, right? It just breeds that same rhetoric that people, whether you like Donald Trump or not, it's just kind of the same rhetoric. Oh, I'm not going to go. I don't see the point of that. You're not making any change. You're not standing for anything. You're just saying you're not going. It's almost like a little kid not wanting to go to eat their broccoli or something. I don't want to go because it's not good. It doesn't make any sense. You got to give me a reason why. And it really hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually applaud him for standing up and saying that. I think that I think this is a way for him to be able to send a message to him as well. I mean, much like we've talked about several times, whether it's taking a knee or taking a seat, whatever it is that you want to do, I think this is truly personal. This has nothing to do with like disrespecting the Oval Office. I think he probably would have considered doing this had not the mockery that's been made of the presidency over the last week or so. But I think that has just been something that's just put the icing on the cake, man. Like it's just too much. And to me, going is kind of saying and smiling in his face, and whether you shake his hand or not, I mean, I think that's kind of saying we're kind of cool with that, or we're okay with that. And it is a pretty prestigious thing. And I think he's taken away from some athletes who, you're right, may never get this chance again. and now they've got to compromise their integrity or, have to disappoint loved ones, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that these guys know and love that are telling them, don't go, or why would you do that? So I think these athletes are in a tough situation.
I do feel when I hear people say they applaud him, I've seen several articles saying, we applaud him. I think we're taken away from the office in and of itself, right? You have to understand President Trump is the president. Unless he says something about you personally, says Kevin Durant, you are, and attaches something to you, I can understand that personal disrespect, but he still holds high esteem with the office. And I think we've kind of lost regard for what the actual title president means. There are certain people in this country who say, I'm not going to go shake his hand, President Trump. And there was a slew of people when President Obama was president saying, if he came here, I wouldn't shake his hand. To me, it's foolish. You respect the office and you go. Now, do you have to say, I respect his values? That's different. You don't have to like his values. You don't have to like his stance. You don't have to like his message. I get that. But the office in and of itself, you have to respect that. And I think coming out and saying, I'm not going because he's there, disrespects the actual title that he holds.
Yeah, but typically me in my everyday life, if I don't agree with you, if I got different values with you than you, even in my daily life, I don't care if you were the principal at my kid's school, if you were my coworker, I don't mess with you. Like I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not gonna act like we're cool when we're not. So it's not a sign of disrespect. It's either you're with me or you're against me, one of the two. And in this situation, I feel like the president, no matter what title, if he was it didn't matter what he was. He's the commander in chief. But if he was, a 4-star general, or if he was the governor, it'd be the same thing. Like I just think that there's a line that you just don't cross, and I can't forget what you said a couple of days ago. I can't forget the actions you've been saying and the way you've been, and just shake your hand and act like, because you're the president, you get a pass on that. Nah, bro. Nah, you cross the line for me.
No, I can agree with that. I mean, if you believe in something, especially in this country, you have to stand up for what you believe in. That's just point blank and simple to me. Because if you don't, people are going to step over you. That's just true.
I agree.
And so even if you agree with his stance or not, he's doing something he believes in, and I can respect that.
Just like that. And the president has a right to do that too. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people now who, their silence is in a way upsetting people. Even number 44. I mean, President Obama, people are like, what's wrong with him? How come he's not coming out and saying something? And yes, he had the most popular tweet and retweet ever. Right. But they're like, they want more from him because he's the person who's held that office lately that had, even then, he was a lot more prestigious than now. I think we're teetering along a 30% approval rating, which is the worst in the history of any president. Like, bruh, come on. And I think sports, again, in my opinion, a microcosm of life in general, is a way for these guys to say, I'm going to use this platform to do it. And I don't know what I would do. And I don't even know what I will think of the guys who do go there, to be honest with you. And to what's going on right now, I know this is a sports podcast, but the young lady who was killed in Charlottesville, her mom won't even speak to the president. She won't even accept his help. He called her during the funeral. Like, not only did he not go to the funeral, he called her during the funeral. She's like, I refuse to speak to that man. And she's literally rejecting on her cell phone calls from the president. And I'm like, good for you. Good for you.
I will say in terms of Kevin Durant and relating it to what I've also seen, it was probably a month or two ago where the Vice President Mike Pence was given a speech, a graduation speech, and the students started walking out in Notre Dame. And I feel that same, it just breathes disrespect. And I'm not saying, okay, you have to respect Donald Trump. I'm saying he's the president, right? Unless he says something that personally, I'm saying he comes out and says, Kevin Durant, you are this, this, and this. And I understand it. But when I go there, if Donald Trump walked in the room, I would show him the respect I would show any person of authority, whoever it may be from any country. I would show them and give them that respect. That's it. It doesn't mean that I agree with their values or even upholding their values. You just give the title in and of itself respect.
Right.
It's not a big deal going there, standing up, accepting, the president speaks, he may say something a little cute, whatever. They all do the same kind of run around and give some little playful jabs to the team and walking out. But to come out and say, I'm not going. it is what message does that send to the other kids though? Okay, so you don't like something, don't go. Don't show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. You can't have that. It breathes the wrong message.
So you, of all people on this show, have said on many occasions about perception. So those exact same kids who are having a hard time dealing with it, listening into the news, understanding how someone who runs our country would be able to talk about people protesting and saying neo-Nazis and people who, racist, like known racists and Ku Klux Klan members are, trying not to disassociate them. Like, how do you tell a little kid, okay, wait a minute, this guy said that, and you're over here smiling and shaking his hand? Like, I'm confused. Like, I could see how a little fifth grader or fourth grader is going to be like, wait a second. Like, I thought this guy said this about these people, and now my favorite basketball player is shaking his hand. Is that okay?
And that's a teaching moment right there, right? You have to teach there is a form of authority, right? Agree with it or not. Now, he's not coming out. I know we're not trying to go all the way there with this show, but he's not coming out and saying flat out, "Oh, I support
New Channel Politics." Here on with New Channel
coming out
Politics.
saying I support this movement, especially what we saw last weekend. That's not what he's saying. Now, did he come out and say the right thing? We're not going to argue that. I don't think anybody in this country is going to argue that he said the right thing. But what I'm saying is just respect the office.
When I see CEOs of the largest companies in the world and in the United States of America want to disassociate with them, I don't have a problem with Kevin Durant doing it. I mean, you're talking about some of the people who are running some of the most profitable, largest companies in the world. Like, you know what, bruh? Enough is enough. Thank you for appointing me. Thank you for allowing me to do this, but I can't. My constituents, my employees, I cannot look them in the face and say that I'm here supporting your agenda. So you know what? I'm out. Like, I felt like he was on Shark Tank. Now everyone's like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. And it's happening every day. Every day. Like, we're not even, I think I haven't watched sports as much as I probably would have because I'm still sitting there in disbelief. And my son's like, that's not true, is it? I'm like, every news channel is reporting it. Like, it's just, I think what we've gone through in the last 10 days or so, or 7 days, has just been, I'm like a zombie. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And I just can't condone it. And it's not just that. It's if you were anything. I don't get along well, and I don't, associate with people that are thieves, that are, child molesters, stuff like that. Like, I can't disassociate that. Once I know that that's the way that you are, then you might be cool with other people, but for me and you, we just don't have to have anything to do with each other. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I kind of agree with, Kevin Durant. Yes, people make mistakes, but when you do it over and over and over and over again, that's not a mistake.
So you right now, Trey, if you were a professional athlete, let's say you were the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And they, oh God, you're loving it a little bit too much. Stop that. And they invited you to the White House. Would you go to the White House?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So what is the difference? What is the difference between not going to the White House and kneeling during the national anthem?
Well, I think the difference is going to the White House is not, that has nothing to do with, to me, there's been people who've been in that office who weren't as good for our people as they should have been. And that's in my opinion. Mm-hmm. In this situation here, I get where Chris is going about saying how he is the commander in chief, and what I've been able to disassociate myself with, forget my own political beliefs. Whoever's the president, they're the president. I hold them to a high regard. But those people, whether they were from my party or not, they held themselves in a manner, in a demeanor that upheld the office of the presidency. The president that we have in office right now, if I said some of the stuff that he said at my job, I get fired. If my kid said some of the stuff that he said about other people and other races at school, they get fired. Or they'd be in detention or ISS or suspended. If they teased and bullied people like that, they would be on a program trying to help them not to become bullies. So for me, I don't think that when our former presidents, whether they were Democratic or Republican, they had a demeanor about them that was just like, wow, that's the president. And that like, wow. Like, it doesn't matter if I voted for them or not. I would literally be running at the opportunity to shake their hand, whether they were, because I want to have conversations with them. This guy, I could care less. I could absolutely care less. And it was like that before. I was like, you know what? I'll give him a chance. I didn't know who I was voting for until the very, very end, to be quite honest with you. So my kids watch every Republican convention, every Democratic convention. I have a polling booth in my house. I use my kids' badge and IDs. I let them vote independently in the closet. Like they literally go in there. I'm seriously, I mean, I am that much into this type of stuff. And that's why I'm so taken aback by it now, because I'm disappointed. I feel like I made my kids go back in and listen to this. And they're like, Dad, this guy's not a good guy. I'm like, no, you got to listen. You've got to be open-minded. And now they're like, told you. I mean, when an 11-year-old can look at you in the face and say, I told you this was going to happen. Like, you're like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'll say, as far as, going back to O's question with the difference between this, not going to the White House, and taking a knee during a game. And it's kind of something me and Trey, we've talked about both on the podcast and off of it. And you brought this point up a lot. What are your words doing after you make your protest, right? I really haven't heard Kevin Durant saying anything other than I'm not going, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't come out and said, this is why, and laid it out. And I can understand some people out there may be like, well, duh, Chris, it's obvious. But you have to explain what you're doing. LeBron James sent out a tweet not too long ago. I agreed with most of it, and he started slamming Trump. And I'm like, we're missing the point here. If we're saying President Trump is unfit for office because of the way he speaks, and then you say all the things he does wrong, and then at the end of it, say, oh, he sucks. You're just like him. You're no different, right?
That's true.
So that's why I was so upset with, I shouldn't say upset, but disagreed with Kevin Durant's stance. He was just like, I'm not going. We don't have a good president. Well, that's not enough. It's like a little kid's mentality. Well, I don't want it because it's yucky. Like, you got to give me more than that. You got to give me more substance than that. That was my problem with what Kevin Durant did as opposed to what Colin Kaepernick did, where he had his stance. He had the cameras in front of him. Then he explained his stance. I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from. With Kevin Durant, it's like, oh, okay, I don't know where you're coming from.
I just think that the visit to the White House is more of like just something that's just supposed to happen. But I think
like a privilege.
I don't know that it's a privilege. I think it's just more like it's just something that just happens. Like you just do it because that's just tradition. It's just tradition. The national anthem, there's something behind that. To most Americans, that means something. When someone goes to visit the president, most people don't even realize that it happened until you watch the 10 o'clock news and it's on for the last 30 seconds of the show. Like that's when people, they visited the White House today. But I think the national anthem has a totally different meaning than visiting that. I mean, I think back in the day when they used to get the phone call while they're in the in the locker room celebrating, as old, Chris, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I mean, they would literally get a call from the president, and I've seen, them on the phone with Ronald Reagan and George Bush, like talking with them, like, hey, congratulations on winning the chance. That's what it used. I mean, that's how it used to be. Now, I just think that, I mean, there's Tom Brady's missed a visit to the White House, right?
Right.
I'm busy. Like I've got stuff planned. Was it really the reason? And I don't hate Tom Brady for doing that. I mean, if you want to stand up for something, stand up for it. But I think you do. I didn't read the whole article about KD. I saw that he was asked a question and he said he wasn't going to go. But I would hold him accountable just like I held everybody else. Like, if you're going to do that, like, speak up. Like, say why you're not going to do it and stand for something.
Yeah.
It's tough, though. As a professional athlete, I can just only imagine. For instance, Michael Jordan. You never hear anything about him standing up for anything, really and truly. Right. He just stayed in the background, and he was a great basketball player. It seems like nowadays, fans expect athletes to come out and say something and speak their mind and back up whatever's happening in the nation at that time. So I do think it's pretty difficult for you to get your word out there and for people not to misunderstand what you're saying or what you're trying to do. So, like I said, I respect him for, going out there and standing up for what he believes in, basically.
Yeah, I think I couldn't agree with you more. I think that Des Bryant is taking some heat about that right now. I mean, because I think they've asked him about it several times, and he's like, allegedly, like, I got a family to feed. Like, he's trying to stay out of it. But Charles Barkley said it a long time ago. And when he was talking about, I am not a role model. I'm not a role model. Unfortunately, guys, they are.
They are. But that, you can't just make yourself a role model. People might look at you
absolutely
as a role model, but you have to take that stance. LeBron James has taken that torch and run with it. He's like, I'm a role model and I'm running with it. Like Des Bryant, he's like knocking the torch down. I do not want this. I do not want this. Yeah. And I think after a certain point in time, fans will look at you and be like, this guy is not really a role model. People look up to LeBron and be like, this guy is a role model. He's taking the torch and he's running with it. And I think, with Charles Barkley, he knocked the torch down. He's like, no, I am not a role model. I'm not taking this stance. There are things that I do off the court that you guys do not agree with. But even with that being said, he was still looked upon as a role model.
Absolutely. He's one of mine. And he was adamant. I was like, no, you're going to be my role model, bro. I mean, I liked him for that.
I personally respect any athlete that comes out and recognizes that that's not their role, because it's not for everybody to speak up. Let's be honest, Des Bryant has a lot of moments where I don't really want him to be our spokesperson, but he recognizes that and he doesn't want to be it either. So I respect him for recognizing that in the first instance.
Yeah, and it's been the subject matter too as well.
Yeah.
That's why I have a lot of respect for Michael Vick as well. After the whole dogfighting incident happened, he turned into a spokesperson for that. A lot of people didn't like it. There's people that were, advocates of animals like that, but he really tried to turn around and make it like, learn from my mistake. I didn't want to do this, and he turned to a spokesperson for that. So it's difficult, though. Yeah. It really is.
And I want to make sure that we're on the same page, because I think a Republican president said it best. He said, all great change in America begins at the dinner table. So I don't think athletes should be role models. I think that our parents and our teachers and, the people that kids can actually come in contact with should take on that role, but they're not willing to do it. They put their child in front of a TV and expect the athletes to do it. So by default, like you said, the athletes kind of become the role models, and they didn't ask for it. They're human like us. They make mistakes. They sin. They make bad decisions. Like they're bad. I mean, they're human. But I think it starts with us. And, before the show, we're talking about being a parent. I think that's what it takes as a parent, stepping up and letting them know these guys are human. And you were talking about a teachable moment, letting her know that even though you're the president, you can't say that. Or maybe there's a better way to say that. Or maybe you should, think before you speak. Yeah. So I think there's teachable moments, whether it's the president, a professional football player, a teacher, the next door neighbor. I think if parents take advantage of those opportunities more often, I think that we wouldn't see these athletes as role models and expect them to help raise our kids.
Yeah. And kind of interesting, I was looking up old videos of the guy who used to sit out in the NBA,
Mahmoud
Abdul-Rauf.
What's his original name?
I think Chris Davis?
Chris Jackson.
I think I want to say it's like Chris Jackson. That's what I want to say it's Chris Jackson. But go ahead.
And it's interesting. I just want to see what athletes of that time, how they dealt with it, because that was an issue then when he wasn't standing for the anthem. And it's interesting. Everybody always says that Michael Jordan never spoke up about certain instances, but on that occasion, he spoke up. And he was asked, and he said he applauds him for doing what he's doing, for standing up for his beliefs, and he basically defended him. I was stunned, because you always hear Michael Jordan stands for nothing, but he did say something. That was during his playing days. I was watching them like, wow, this video clip is never shown, but he did say something.
Michael Jordan was like the 10th player coming off the bench or something like that, you would be caught from that team probably, because he's Michael Jordan. But, it goes hand in hand. The same reasons why you applaud these guys are the same reasons why you might try to disown them because of their greatness. Michael Jordan is so great. Anything that he says, people are going to be paying attention to what he's saying.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't say something that you agree with, you're going to be pretty upset with him because he's such a great player.
Yeah, but we have this false pretense about how great and how perfect these guys really are.
Right.
And I think and our kids have that. I think as adults, we kind of tend to have it, but our kids, it's on a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you this much, had the San Antonio Spurs won the NBA championship, they wouldn't be going to, I don't think that whole team would go to the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Popovich ain't having that.
He's not having that at all. Yeah. He is not having that.
I tell you, I apologize to him and the Spurs and everybody else publicly, via Facebook and, Instagram, like when he came up and stood for something, but the way he went about it, like we were just talking about, like that Steve Kerr has been very vocal about his opinions on that. And it doesn't matter if it was a Democratic president, a Republican president, that doesn't matter. I like the fact that if you got an issue with something, like say something, like you said, like say something, let's talk about it, but let's stand for something. And I kind of wish
that's what Kevin Durant would have done too. He should have voiced his opinion and be like, this is how I feel. But I'm going to go to that White House and I'm going to talk to Donald Trump directly and tell him how I feel as well. Instead of just avoiding the whole situation and saying, this is not where I'm going to go. You know, but that's just me. You know, we're all entitled to do things the way that we want to do them, you know, so.
I thought about you guys did you guys hear Doug Baldwin's comment about the Michael Bennett situation? And he said he stood behind him because, you know, Doug Baldwin came out and publicly was against what Colin Kaepernick was doing. And now it's his teammate doing something like that. And Doug Baldwin's family, cops and all that type of good stuff. And he said, one of the last statements was, not only do I applaud him for doing what he's doing, but the way he went about doing it or his reasoning behind doing it. And I think as adults, as kids, we want to know, why are you doing this?
Yeah, right.
And I think that's what Kevin Durant could probably do a little bit better.
And that's half the battle with a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Honestly, you can have a stance, but if you go about doing it the wrong way, people are just not going to respect you.
Absolutely.
If you go about doing it the right way, they might look at you like, okay, I understand why you're doing this. Let's talk about this, and you have respect for one another.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that, but I know we can also put this into perspective. If you have a certain stance, there are people who are going to view your position, no matter how you take your position, as you're crazy because you're taking that stance.
Absolutely.
Right? This will put that out there.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm just glad that we're taking the time on, you know, this podcast to talk about it, because this is stuff that's really real. I mean, I know it's baseball season, but playoffs is heating up. And did y'all see the home run Aaron Judge hit the other day? Tell me you saw it.
I didn't see it.
I saw it.
You saw it? The outfielder didn't even think. He just like looked. Like
he glanced back like, nope.
It said it had an exit velocity of like 117 miles an hour, 457 feet. I mean, it was a monster shot. Giancarlo Stanton's on pace to hit 62 home runs, to break what people feel is Roger Maris's record. NFL season's getting ready to start, and the only thing they're talking about right now is our president. And like that's crazy to me. And what's going on in the world. Like, it's so crazy. Right now, fantasy football. I haven't even planned some of my fantasy football drafts. Like, I mean,
I gotta get that started.
Yeah, exactly. Like fantasy football, like all that stuff that we would normally be in the mindset of right now. I think we're all kind of taken aback. Like, what just happened? Like, or what is going on? And I hope we can get back to, you know, football and baseball, MLB playoffs. I would like MLB playoffs. But get back to that type of stuff, because it's a tough time to be an American.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I will say this, and I know there's certain videos that have come out in recent weeks where you only expected to see that in your history class, right?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't expect to see that on live news. So which is why it's taking everybody aback.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that's enough on New Channel Politics. Discussing issues in America. Okay, so I want to get into this fight. It's going to be going
what
down.
Fight?
I forgot their names already.
I don't know.
Next week there's a fight. It's going to be a big fight, a mega fight.
That's some little guys.
WWE fight. Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, next Saturday. It's going to be going down. We have talked about this. I think it was episode 7. We have a big discussion about that fight. And I just wanted to see if any of you guys' views have changed on the fight. Mine's haven't. I'm not watching it. I decided I'm just not going to watch it. It's a circus. It's just an event that's going to go down. Floyd Mayweather's going to win. He's going to be 50-0, and he's going to ride off into the sunset. I already know what's going to happen. I'm Cleo, and I already know what's going to happen. I can see the future.
Well, Cleo, let me tell you something.
Cleo's in jail.
Yes, she is.
Is she really?
Yeah, she is. I used the wrong person. I should have said Cleo. I should have said someone else. But anyway.
I was tempted to not watch it. Then I said, I'm going to watch it. Now I'll have something to do. So I won't be in my house watch, but I'll watch it somewhere. And I was thinking that, you know what? Maybe Conor McGregor could catch Floyd Mayweather slipping. Like nobody else has ever done it. Maybe he could bum rush him and just come out aggressive from the beginning. And he's used to only
knock
fighting
him out cold.
Maybe. But then I started seeing this guy punch and bag. And then I saw some of the crazy antics that he's doing. Like, I mean, just the way that his stance and like I think to be able to fight 50 fights, Floyd Mayweather, that's 50 professional fights, right? That didn't include your amateur boxing or anything like that. And the way that Conor McGregor is standing there boxing, and when you got sparring partners, like, man, I don't waste my time with you, bro. Like, until I've seen what's going on, I'm like, this is bad. Like he has only chance he has is to just get as close to Floyd as you possibly can and get lucky.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to show y'all age a little bit. Both of you were old enough when Mike Tyson fought Buster Douglas, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Did either one of you watch that fight?
Yeah. I saw it.
Watched it live?
I saw it. Yeah.
No, I didn't watch it live.
You see, I don't know how either one of you could be people who. So Trey,
No, I talked about that on the last podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't miss both,
but
right?
No. This is the thing, though. Buster Douglas is a professional boxer. So when he had more than a 1% chance of beating Mike Tyson in that fight. Conor McGregor has less than 1% chance of beating Floyd Mayweather. And like you said, 49 professional fights, that's not going to go away overnight. It's just not going to happen. And then Floyd Mayweather, the way he sets up these fights, there's no way he's going to let someone that can beat him on the 50th fight. It's just not going to happen. I understand what you're saying. That's the only reason I will watch it, is for that Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson effect. Because when that did happen, the world stopped. Like, oh my God. But it's just not going to happen.
Well, I'm watching it for the Buster Douglas effect. I'm also watching it just to see if one of them do something crazy in the ring. I know everybody looks at them and say, oh, they have a lot of antics. They do, but they're both kind of crazy too. They both have the crazy factor. So I could see either one of them doing something crazy in the ring. I don't see, a lot of people are joking saying Conor might kick him or something like that. I don't see that, but I can see Conor attempting to tackle him or try to bite him or something crazy, just getting beat so bad. And why would you want to watch that?
I think that fix is already in, man. I really think that.
Not on his 50th fight.
No,
though.
I think that Conor McGregor has nothing to lose, man. He has nothing to lose. Dana White and the UFC will make out like bandits if this fight goes past 5 rounds. Right? What's the standard UFC fight? 3 rounds? 5 rounds?
Championship is 5 rounds.
5 rounds. So McGregor's, yes, he's grappling and wrestling and all this other type of good stuff. So I don't think he's going to expend the amount of energy. But trying to catch Floyd Mayweather, like everybody else has tried to do over those rounds, he's going to get tired. Like, and you could see in this. I don't know if you've seen the show that they're doing leading up to the fight, but dude, I mean, even as good of a shape as he's in, boxing is a little bit different. He looks a little winded. The stuff that he's doing with his arms, if he tries that with Floyd Mayweather, he's going to go to sleep. Like, he's going to go to sleep. And Floyd hasn't had a knockout since what, 2012 or 11 or something like that?
Yeah, I'll bet on that. I'll bet that Floyd will knock out Conor McGregor. I won't want to see it, but
he ain't had one in a while.
Yeah.
So 22 years ago tomorrow, America was waiting for something similar to what you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson was facing this new guy. His name was Peter McNeely. I don't know if you remember that.
Right.
They had all these Pizza Hut commercials and all this other type of stuff about how good this fight was going to be and what this guy was going to do to Mike Tyson.
That fight was fixed. Though.
You think so?
Yeah. You see when he knocked him out? No, give me a break, man.
It wasn't happening, though. That dude was
even after he lost, he got endorsements for losing that fight. Peter, yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that
was a joke.
Yeah, that's I can't. It's I'm gonna watch it, and they're gonna make a ton of money. But what scared me was when they were asking Floyd about the fight, and they asked him, "Could you lose?" And he goes, I don't think anybody who's making $500 million on anything is a loser. And so I was thinking to myself, like, wait a second. Like, I don't think he would throw this because he's too prideful for that. He doesn't want to take that L. But it was just weird because I think he's trying to sell tickets, but it kind of like as a fan, like, come on, Floyd, come on, give me something. Like, be the cocky Floyd that we all know and love. But he's like, you can't lose if you're making, $500 million. Like, you're a winner. Or you're making $100 million. In McGregor's instance, you're not a loser. No way. I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear that. I want him to knock him out.
I think in this fight, the way I've always seen it is, and if you've ever been out there, I'm not condoning fighting, but if you've been in a certain amount of fights in your life, there's certain fighters you don't want to fight. When I was growing up, I always hated fighting people who I knew were very afraid of me because I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know if they're going to lash out at me or bite me, so I was very protective. But if I could see in the other person's face, like, okay, this person thinks they can take me, it's an easier fight for me because I kind of know how they're going to try to take me down. That's why I want to watch this fight.
You think there's something that Conor McGregor can do to Floyd Mayweather that he's never seen before?
Oh, exactly. What? I think we're all going to be this in awe of him. He might
do
a cartwheel in the ring.
y'all can't see what Trey is doing right now, but he just
what is that? What is that?
waving his arms up
That's
and down.
what McGregor's doing. Like I'm like, what is that? What is that? You ever been to a fight before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just Floyd is not going to lose a fight. He's just not. He might knock him out. I have zero interest in this fight. It does nothing for me. Like absolutely nothing.
Well,
I can't even imagine Conor McGregor knocking him out. Even if he did knock him down, I think that would just wake Floyd up. Okay. Now I'm going to kick your butt for real. It's just not going to happen.
I think you fall into about the 3% of the world who doesn't have some type of interest in this fight. I think that even if you're not
it's
a boxing
grown,
fan,
though. It's grown from time.
Well, they've done a good job of hyping it up.
Right,
But
right.
the fight that people should be excited about is the fight that's going to happen a couple weeks after that.
Right.
That
absolutely.
Alvarez and Triple G fight is going to be ridiculous.
But have you seen them on First Take?
Oh yes.
Boring thing.
Yeah.
I have great respect for him.
Yeah.
I have great respect. Like, come on, bro.
I don't think
that.
But you do know when two men say that, when they get into the ring, they're going to show you how much respect they have for one another.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even look at Mickey Ward and Gotti. They had great respect for one another. And that was after the first fight.
Yeah, that trilogy was
brutal.
amazing.
Those were brutal fights.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that. Now, as far as Mayweather and McGregor, I'm a WWE fan. So I've already seen it all before. I've already seen lead ups to SummerSlam and WrestleMania. So I've seen Hogan and all that. So I mean, The Rock.
I didn't know you were a WWE fan.
I was.
You used to be?
I mean, I can't watch as much now, but I was, back in the Attitude area with Stone Cold and The Rock and all them. So,
okay.
They can't do anything that's just.
So he's doing y'all the service. This dude used to make paper belts.
Oh wow!
You go put me on blast on the podcast. I can say some stuff about you too, Chris. But I'm not gonna put you on blast though. But yeah, I mean, I was a WWE fan. Yeah, so I mean, they can't really do anything leading up to the fight that's just going to get me more interested in the fight. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to fool me. I am not buying this fight. Just not going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one though. I think it's something that we're definitely going to be talking about it.
What would there be to talk about? Like, let's just say it happens that Floyd Mayweather beats him. What are we going to talk about? Exactly.
How bad he beats him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If McGregor wins, it will break the internet. If Conor McGregor,
look, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I will be going back on YouTube or whatever to try to watch it to see exactly what happened. I would, but
yeah, he's going to break the internet, man. It's if he does that, but I'm just hoping that it doesn't happen. I want to see Floyd have an opportunity to knock him out and just let him hang on, and then just get him to the brink of knockout again and then do it again. I just want to see him I want to see him tap out. I want to see him tap out without a submission hold.
So basically, you want to see a 6-round fight. That's what that looks like. Yeah. It's 6 rounds max.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah,
I would love to see that.
It's not going to happen, guys. Floyd he plays this perfectly, getting y'all all hyped up for the fight. Because really and truly, when the fight was first announced, it was almost like it was 50-50, right? That's how I felt. Like 50 people like, nah, I'm not going to watch it. And people they're going to watch it. And they just hyped it up so much. Now you're saying I'm in the 3% of people that don't want to watch this fight.
Well, the problem is McGregor doesn't have anything to lose. So like all these other fighters that fought, they're fighting to, if I lose, I want to set up that rematch. I don't want to lose my rank. I don't want to just get smoked. McGregor he's not ranked.
That's not enough though. For him, I can go into the fight with Floyd Mayweather. I have nothing to lose. All I have to gain is a payday. That's
so
it.
You're just going to go all out. So you're going to go
doesn't mean I doesn't have a chance to win. Going all out. This is because you go all out. It's like any other sport. If you go all out and you don't have any preparation, you have a set plan, you have any experience, you might be better. You might be worse off that way, just going out and just doing anything. He has no chance. Conor McGregor has no chance.
Conor McGregor's like some of those NBA players on those 10-day contracts, or those veterans who get invited to camp super late, right? They have to go balls to the wall. Just I got to give you everything that I got, that's going to be different from Floyd Mayweather. Like I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. He's not used to people coming at him every single round. As soon as that bell rings, McGregor's going to be in his face. So McGregor got one of two things. I'm gonna knock him out, or he's gonna knock me out. McGregor's not trying to go 12 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. There's not going to be a part two.
And that's the beauty of this fight. Mayweather likes to control his fights. And honestly, whenever you watch somebody fight Mayweather, they normally bring everything the first 3 rounds. You're like, oh, wow, this person's throwing it all at him. But with McGregor, the typical boxers who fight Mayweather are thinking, I'm going to give him my all in these first 3 rounds, but I still got to save a little bit just in case. McGregor's thinking, this is it. I'm going to give him 3 rounds.
Y'all are not convincing me at all.
If they go 12 rounds, Mayweather's got.
They're not going to go 12
I'm just saying he's got the most to lose because they're going to be like, why couldn't he knock this guy out? He's getting older, blah blah blah. Yes, he's 50 and over, blah. McGregor's like, I ain't got time for that. I make money in 7 minutes, right? 5 minutes, a submission hold. He's not going to be down with that. And when Floyd's got to get him off of him every round, hugging him, headbutting him, all types of little stuff like that subtle things he can get away, a couple of low blows here or there. Watch. There'll be some headbutts. I'm telling you.
Headbutts, low blows.
There's going to be some headbutts. That's just stuff that he's just, I mean, his mentality is going to come into play at some point. He's not going to be able, he doesn't have the mental capacity. I shouldn't say that. That's not right. He doesn't have the framework to go back and rely on certain things. He doesn't have the muscle memory to do some of that stuff. Yeah. Like he's going to go back to Mayweather gets on me, I might put my knee up, not to kick you, but just like to protect myself because that's what he does.
Right.
And I think those types of things, a blow to Floyd or a headbutt, okay, I'll lose the point. I'm going to lose the fight anyway. But if he can do that to injure Floyd at all, then we got a different fight.
This kind of reminds me of when you talk about a team bringing their all March Madness. So you're watching a 16 versus 1 or 15 versus a 2. When you watch those games, all they're doing, and he has a bracket buzzer shirt on, all they do is shoot threes. That's what those teams do. They shoot threes and try to get layups, and to hell with everything else.
And the 16-1 matchup is never really close.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes
most
it is.
of the time it's
they've
not.
never won. I get that they've never won. But there are times you watch it like, they almost got that team. So just watching that is exciting.
Duke losing to Mercer.
What was Duke ranked?
Man, I think they were a 2 seed and Mercer was a 15.
15,
yeah.
But that's like even the odds of that happening are so low. I understand what you're saying. That he's going to go out there, balls to the wall. He has nothing to lose. But I think that goes against him, honestly. I think Floyd Mayweather, if you think that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest defensive boxer of all time, then that plays right into his hands, honestly. I have 0.000 interest in this fight. My stance has not changed.
Duke was a 3 and a 14, by the way.
Okay, Duke was number 3.
Okay.
Mayweather might be the 3rd greatest boxer of all time. Maybe. And he's going to lose a fight to an MMA fighter. I hope not. I don't want him to lose. Don't get it twisted. I do not want him to lose, but anything is possible.
There you go.
Kevin Garnett. Oh gosh. So what's the next topic we're going to talk about right now? Just throw it up. Just whatever.
We can always
I throw you the ball and just you dunk it.
I know Trey was trying to say something about the Cowboys, and I will cut that off.
How did you know?
Right now.
How did you know?
I'm excited for the Texans, and this is why. Texans had to joint practice with the Patriots. Texans had to joint practice with the Patriots this week, and we do play each other this season. So I think both teams are gonna have they're gonna really play some very base defenses. But anytime the Patriots hold joint practices during the offseason, that's typically when they really buckle down as a team and get together. They don't really show you anything during the preseason games. And from what we were hearing, Deshaun Watson was doing really well versus their first team defense. And I think the preseason game tonight, it'll be really interesting to see if Deshaun Watson can move the ball and how many snaps he gets with the first team offense for the Texans.
Yeah, we talked on this on our last episode, the Lost episode. We talked about some of the comments that Tom Savage made that he expects. I forgot exactly what he said, but he said that he is a starting quarterback until someone takes away from him, basically. But Deshaun Watson, I have been hearing a lot of good things coming out of practice about Deshaun Watson. I haven't seen anything, obviously, but I'm hearing a lot of good things. Don't look at me like that, Trey.
I'm not saying anything. I'm a Deshaun Watson fan, remember?
the closer we get to the start of the season, I'm almost inclined to say he's going to be starter week 1. It's almost like it's being set up that way. Like,
does that make you happy?
Yes, it's a bittersweet kind of thing. I just want them to be careful. I do feel like we have something special in Deshaun Watson. I do. And if any organization can F that up, it's the Houston Texans. Yeah. And that scares the crap out of me. If they put in Deshaun Watson too soon and his confidence gets rattled, I don't even think that he's not going to be a great football player, but he might not be a great football player on this team, on the Houston Texans team. He might go through all he goes through and then go to another team and then start shining. That's just the fear that I have. But I do think that Watson is something special. Now, are the Houston Texans going to develop him the right way? I don't know. They have not given me any confidence that they've done that with any other quarterback. So why would I expect it with Watson?
I don't think you've had a quarterback since maybe Schaub.
Matt Schaub is the best quarterback the Houston Texans have ever had.
Right. But I don't think you've had a quarterback take a snap for you since Schaub that with Deshaun Watson's skill set, his fire, his tenacity, his leadership. I mean, the kid is a natural born leader.
Yeah, he is.
I think Dabo Swinney did a good job with him at Clemson, and I think they found a diamond in the rough. Is it going to be easy? Heck no. But I think they found a diamond in the rough, and I think what we've also seen with these young quarterbacks nowadays is, especially those that played 4 years in college. He's not one of those that played a year or two and came out. Like this kid, 2 years and came out. This kid played 4 years in college, right? He was a 4-year starter?
Yeah, 4 years.
He played 4 years, in Clemson. So this isn't some 20-year-old kid trying to find his way or trying to read defenses. He played at the highest level, played against some NFL type, not quality, but NFL type defenses. And I think he's gonna do well. I think he's gonna do really, really well. He was my favorite player in this draft, and I'm happy for him. Really happy for him.
Let me ask you guys this. So let's say he starts week 1. What are the odds he has a season similar to Dak Prescott?
Not even close. Not even close. I don't think he'll have the offensive weapons, including the offensive line that Dak Prescott had. But I think he could have a year similar, if not better, to what Jameis Winston did his rookie year, which was a good year. It was a really good year.
How good really was Dak Prescott's rookie year? I know, like as far as record wise, it was good. But how were the numbers? How did his numbers look that year?
I mean,
because I think that's what you're saying. Those numbers wise, are you talking about?
I was talking about both numbers wise and
I think
winning games.
Okay,
yeah, I think he has the opportunity to win some games if that defense lives up to what we expect them to do. The offensive line does scare me, but if the defense does play well.
Dak's numbers were ridiculous.
Okay, so
yeah, you want to read them to him? So
he had over 3,600 yards, a touchdown interception ratio. It's ridiculous. He threw 23 touchdowns, had 4 interceptions, and he had a passer rating above 104.
So let's hope
104.9.
Let's
to be exact. So you can't you don't do much better than that. You don't do that. Those types of numbers there are stupid. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's almost a 6-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Yeah.
There's no way he duplicates that.
Dak's not going to do that, but neither is Deshaun.
No, Deshaun's not going to do that. He's not. And it's just because of the offensive line to me personally. The offensive line that the Cowboys have is the best in the league, and Deshaun's not going to have that. He's going to be back there, running for his life sometimes.
Yeah.
So Jameis Winston's rookie year, and I don't think Deshaun will throw this much, but he had 4,000 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and an 84.2 passer rating, which that's not great, but it was respectful for him his rookie year, and I think that's what.
Who's a better quarterback, Jameis Winston or Dak Prescott?
That's easy. That is.
I want to hear
right now. right now, Dak Prescott.
Oh my god,
easy.
Oh my god,
are y'all serious?
You're a comedian, man. You crack me up
Jameis threw for 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 18 interceptions last year. Dak doesn't make those mistakes.
But this is
Jameis Winston had 14 more interceptions.
What's Trey's thing? No, sir.
Yeah, this ain't even. Y'all stop.
It's based on the team, though, right? You know, Dak Prescott, he has the luxury of being careful with the ball because the offense is so good.
Oh yeah,
But Jameis Winston, he has to go balls to wall sometimes.
Plus
you know?
19 to plus 10 on a takeaway ratio. Plus 19 to plus 10. Which would you rather have?
But you know, I'm not surprised. This is the same guy that said Dak Prescott is better than Matt Ryan. So
easy.
So you know,
I just said I would rate him higher than him right now.
I think if you put Jameis on that Dallas squad last year, they probably came out and won the Super Bowl.
You're out your mind.
They probably would have.
If you gave Dak Prescott Mike Evans, I guarantee he probably had 29, 30 touchdowns.
So Mike Evans is better than.
he's that much better than Dez Bryant.
Dez didn't play that much last year. Dez was injured.
See how he backtracks.
They had Ezekiel Elliott though. They had Ezekiel Elliott though, man.
Yeah, come on, man. They had anybody you put behind that Tampa Bay line last year played well. Everybody. Jacquez Rogers y'all probably picked him up in your fantasy league. Dude came out beasted.
I did it.
You didn't?
No, I did it. No.
You didn't wake up early enough on the waiver wire then because somebody.
I already had enough running backs on my team.
Yeah,
I didn't pick up Rodgers.
That's okay.
But Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than
You're
Dak
crazy.
Prescott. He is, man.
Man, you don't believe that.
I do believe.
No
that.
way. Stop hating.
Anybody that hates on this show is you. You're the main hater on the show.
Who do I hate on?
San Antonio, Houston.
I apologize to San Antonio and Houston. They're my side chick. They don't hate on your side chick. You can't make them mad.
Anyway, so the AFC quarterbacks. The best AFC South quarterback right now is
Andrew Luck.
Second.
Oh man, Marcus Mariota.
And then third,
Blake Bortles.
You taking Blake Bortles over?
I mean, it's an abomination, but you got to.
You're taking
the Texans are saying right now Thomas Savage is a starter. So I'm choosing out of starters. I'm not going to say Deshaun Watson when he may not even be starting.
I think Tom Savage right now is better than Blake Bortles.
You are a homer
right now.
You're
no. That has nothing to do with the Texans.
You're a homer.
I don't want Tom Savage to start. How am I a homer?
Savage is not better than Bortles.
Bortles is boo boo.
And what is Savage?
Okay, so Blake Bortles is trash, right? And Tom Savage is a little bit above trash. It's not like, you know, Blake Bortles has little grimy stuff on the trash and everything like that. But Tom Savage is above. It's dry trash.
You called, speaking of that, you call Bortles poo-poo, right?
Yeah, I'm poo-pooing on Bortles.
He's poo-poo.
Yes.
Then Savage is diarrhea, right? So Savage is terrible. Terrible.
Look, we're having a debate of who's more trash, pretty much. Blake Bortles or Tom Savage.
Yeah. So, but don't be a homer. And the
reason I'm giving Tom Savage is because we haven't seen him for a full season. We've seen trash from Blake Bortles for an entire season, and not only that, he has pretty decent wide receivers. Like
who does?
Blake Bortles.
Allen Robinson is good.
Yes, he is. He has receivers on each side. I mean.
So and then he had two receivers.
Allen Hurns was a receiver at one point too, right?
Yeah.
And the guy you just mentioned,
Hurns and Robinson.
Those are pretty
He
cool.
also has a tight end, Thomas.
Yeah, they picked up Thomas last year. And he didn't do anything with that.
Their offensive line might be worse than the Texans.
It might be.
Maybe.
It might be.
And Blake Bortles, he struggled, but anybody in that
struggle is they don't have a nice word.
They weren't healthy at running back. They got Chris Ivory thinking that he was going to do something, and he did absolutely nothing. But I guarantee you, if they played the same amount of games, Blake Bortles' stats would be 10 times better than Savage.
Yeah, how can you say that with certainty?
I'm just positive. I'm positive.
I agree with Trey here. I would take Blake Bortles over Tom Savage, but that's just, to me, the question of either quarterback is a domination.
So
you're in trouble with those guys,
you're talking about how great Jameis Winston was. Last year, Bortles threw for 3,900 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions.
So you're saying Blake Bortles is better than based off the stats?
I didn't say that.
Is that where you're going with this?
The year before that, Bortles threw for almost 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 18 interceptions, and it had a higher passer rating than this Jameis Winston character you're making, to be so great. He's only been in the league a couple years.
Okay, just say it then. Say Blake Bortles is better than Jameis Winston. Just say it.
I'm not going to say that. He has thrown for 3,000 more yards. He has thrown for more yards.
You're a stat guy. So basically,
he's
what
thrown
you're saying,
for more yards, more touchdowns than Winston. I'm just saying.
Okay, so if it's your first time listening to this podcast, Trey is a stat guy. And most of the time when he names these stats and someone's stats are better than the other one, he's basically saying that quarterback is better than that one. So right now what he's saying is that Blake Bortles is a better quarterback than
That
Jameis
is not
Winston.
what Trey is saying. Trey is saying Winston is a better quarterback. Statistically, Bortles has him right now. But after this year, Winston's going to pass him up.
Okay.
Just a couple shows ago, I predicted Blake Bortles would have a breakout season. But after watching his 2 preseason performances, I don't think he's going to survive the preseason. I think Chad Henne's going to take his job.
Nah, they can't.
I'm not. The coach already came out and said, it's now an open competition.
But he's been getting a lot of chances, though. What year is this for Blake Bortles right now?
I think year 5.
Year 5?
Yeah.
He's been getting a lot of opportunities, man. Really and truly. Like, if this is truly year 5 for him, because I think they're talking about last year, he was on thin ice. So this year, he's like on ultra thin ice.
He's played 3 years.
Okay, so
Okay,
it's
3
year
years.
4.
This is year 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
So they picked up his option this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got better. But y'all need to stop hating on Blake Bortles, man.
But, so who's the worst quarterback in the league right now? Brock Osweiler. That's hands down. Because I don't even want anybody to debate that. Brock Osweiler is the worst quarterback
in the league.
In the league. Just of starting quarterbacks, he is the worst quarterback.
He's worse than Cutler?
Yeah. Yeah. I would take Jay Cutler right now, coming off the, not do anything in the offseason, as opposed to Brock Osweiler practicing his butt off throughout the whole offseason. I would take Jay Cutler right now. Yes.
I would probably take Brock Osweiler.
I can't do it.
It's just, they're both garbage, but at least Brock Osweiler has a positive garbage to him. He's happy. Jay Cutler is a sad garbage.
He's better than Tyrod Taylor?
Who?
Osweiler.
Yeah. That's not even a question. Why would you put Tyrod Taylor? Tyrod Taylor played very good last year.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
He did. He's kind of getting hosed.
No.
He
You
took away
get
his best receiver this offseason.
the way you said it though was like, is there a question?
Tyrod Taylor played. He's below average NFL
No,
quarterback.
I'm not really debating that, but he is way better than Brock Osweiler. He's eons better than Brock Osweiler. I don't care what you do going down that list. You're not going to find any quarterback that I'm going to immediately say Brock Osweiler. There's not a quarterback. He's the worst quarterback in the league. This is not a question. There's no debate to this. If we start off every podcast like who's the worst quarterback, this is Brock Osweiler. It'll be 2-minute podcasts that we doing about that topic.
Y'all need to hook up, man. You need to just hug it out or something.
With Brock
why are you
Osweiler?
hating him so bad?
There's people hate and the truth.
72 million, right? Is that what y'all gave him?
That's what the Texans gave him. Yes.
Wow. That's how y'all roll.
So anyway, I was saying that to say that Tom Savage and Blake Bortles are just a little bit ahead of Brock Osweiler. Like they are
just a little bit.
They're eons ahead, but they're the next. Like Brock Osweiler is in a category by himself. Of trash.
I wish you could see your face right now.
I know what it looks like because I saw him play with us a couple of years ago.
Why do you hate this man so bad?
Did you see what he did with the Texans? It's not even just that. The positive thing that Chris is saying, that becomes freaking annoying. That's why I'll take Jay Cutler. At least he can have the demeanor that the whole I'm so happy to be here, blah, blah, blah. I've been paying quarterback for
all
years.
That money. Y'all gave a backup quarterback.
Well, we thought he was going to be like Matt Schaub at least.
Please.
Matt Schaub was backing up Vic. So when he came, he did pretty decent. He was a pretty good quarterback, and he played with the system. We thought that's what Brock Osweiler was going to do. He was the garbage. Yeah. So, man,
poor Brock.
Every podcast we talk Tony Romo or Brock Osweiler, the bangs of our teams. Well, me and Trey's.
They're both trash.
I don't know how you can say that Tony Romo was trash, man.
Don't get my blood boiling today.
I'm trying to get yours because mine is boiling right now.
I can tell.
Any talk about Brock gets my blood boiling. Tony Romo was way better than Brock Osweiler.
Tony Romo couldn't catch a snap. If you catch that snap, I have a different respect for him.
You see, after this offseason, I really wish that Romo, well, now that we have Deshaun, I'm happy we have Deshaun. But I would have loved for Romo to become a Texan and lead us to the Super Bowl.
I would have been laughing my butt off.
But they still would have drafted Deshaun Watson, I think.
You think so?
They got
and
Tony
he'd
Romo.
be starting too. Because Tony Romo, no, sir.
That would have been better there because maybe we had the same effect of taking him off and then putting him on like Dak Prescott.
Tony, no mo. No mo, Tony. Sit your butt up in that booth. Set your ass down somewhere. What he needs to do. Leave us Cowboys alone, man. Let's ride off into the sunset.
Tony Romo was the third best quarterback the Cowboys have ever had.
Fine. Well, no, he's like the sixth best quarterback. I already told you the order.
He's actually better than Troy Aikman.
You're out of your mind.
He's better than Troy Aikman.
No.
The numbers say statistically
he's
a better quarterback.
Pull him up.
I already told you.
I'll tell you what, pull the numbers right now.
You want me to pull up the numbers?
Pull up the numbers.
The best highest. Okay, I'll pull them up for you right now. I'm going to tell you the numbers.
He was so quick to pull the numbers every other time.
For Dallas
But then he had his hands folded like, I'm not going to pull them up.
No, I got it right here. Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks of all time. You want me to tell you? I'll read you. I'm not going to even make it up. I'm going to read it in order. Roger Staubach.
This is yards.
Huh?
This is yards?
You want me to go by yards?
No, what are you going by?
Just the way that they rank them.
No. We want to do the stats.
Let's go
we
by
want
yards.
stats. I want stats.
Yeah.
Because you know how Cowboy fans are. Tony Romo's not going to be on that list. He said, you're trying to play us now.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to read it to you the way it is. Dallas Cowboys quarterback stats. You want me to read them to you?
Yes.
All right. So, we had a lot of quarterbacks. I didn't realize that. So, number 1, Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, Danny White, Don Meredith, Craig Morton, Steve Pellure, Quincy Carter, Tony Romo.
With the yards? Get out of here, man.
Can you read the yards?
Romo is he's 1,500. No, I'll take that back. Like 1,900 yards more than Aikman.
So he has the most passing yards in Cowboys history.
Yes.
So he's the best quarterback in Cowboys history.
Is that how it works?
I'm asking you, stat man.
I'm asking. Is that how it works? It just doesn't because he has the most yards. Does that make?
We know that's not how it works, but I think you're making it sound as if Tony Romo is that bad.
You know what? Let's make that a rule. That's how it works. He had the most yards. He's the best. He had the most yards. He's the best. Which means Emmitt Smith's the greatest running back of all time, right? Right?
Oh, you weren't here for that. You weren't here for that debate.
So he's got the most yards.
Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders.
He's got the most yards.
I just want to point this out before we leave Romo. Out of the top 5 Dallas quarterbacks, he has the lowest interception percentage by far. At least almost 2 or 3 percentage points lower than every
It's a different game.
Interceptions are interceptions. You throw into the other team.
But even you saying it's a different game, that helps his argument even more.
Aikman was at 3% and Romo's at 2.7.
2.7%.
That's not by far.
That's a lot.
You see what y'all are doing here, though?
Dak Prescott's
at
0.9.
You see how you can have a debate about this?
Jason
the Brock Osweiler debate, there is no debate. There's nothing to compare it to. At least you have that.
Troy Aikman had the highest completion percentage in playoff history for a while. I think Jake Plummer took that over. But man, why are y'all even worried about Troy Aikman's got 3 rings. How many's Romo got? Troy Aikman's got more rings than Romo has playoff wins.
Romo probably would have got a sniff of a playoff ring.
You want me? Oh, you weren't here. You weren't here. You want me to tell you a story about if? You want me to tell you? Can I? You want me to? Can I say it?
That was a catch, by the way. That's right. Was it a catch? It was a catch, right?
Yes, that was a catch.
That was a drop.
It was a drop.
It was a drop. He got it, and then he tried to extend. In the process of trying to extend, he dropped the ball.
How do you extend the ball?
Is it over?
If you don't have control.
Is it over?
This is the thing, though. He's so touchdown hungry. He couldn't catch the ball. That's literally what happened. He did not catch
that was a catch.
I was watching that game.
So was I.
And he dropped the ball.
I got video and photo proof it was a catch. What's a football move?
This is why he dropped the ball. Because he was thinking touchdown.
What's a football move?
That's what Des Bryant was looking for.
What is a football move?
Football moves when you catch the ball and make a move moving up the field.
So when you plant your foot on the 3-yard line and you dive to extend the ball?
But that's not what he did, though.
That is exactly what he did.
He didn't have control of the ball. Before he even caught the ball, he was thinking, end zone. Because he's just so touchdown hungry. And then he reached for it and didn't catch it.
That was a catch. That's why the NFL doesn't know what a catch is today. They still can't tell you what a catch is. Because of that.
They didn't make it simple.
That was a catch.
They make it too complicated now.
That was.
I don't even know what no one knows what the catch is. Whenever someone catches the ball and drops it, I'm like, okay, let's just see what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
and now I'm like, that's definitely not a catch. They're like, catch. I'm
catch.
like, what?
Right.
How is that possible?
And some of the ones that think are definitely catches, they say they're not catches.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense.
Like the Hail Mary pass that Aaron Rodgers threw.
In Seattle?
No. It was one, he landed on his back and the ball bobbled.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were going to call that a no catch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Caught the ball, but you just never know what's going to be there. So anyway,
the tie in Seattle with
that wasn't a catch.
That wasn't a catch. Nobody argues that.
Yeah.
That was with the replacement refs.
But they still called it a catch.
That was with Golden Tate.
Well, one of them did. One of them said it was a touchdown. It wasn't.
I mean, I can't. Every time I watch that replay, I would have been the dude screaming touchdown with my hands out because the replacement refs, you never get that opportunity.
And you want to say touchdown.
The crowd's about to go crazy.
You
so I
want
would
to
have said, after further review, touchdown.
And then I would move to Seattle. Beloved referee. He probably does live in Seattle right now.
He better. He better.
Oh, gosh. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening to this podcast today. Hopefully, this won't turn into a lost podcast.
20.3.
Because this is the second time we're doing the 20th episode. But make sure you subscribe, leave comments, let us know what we're doing right, what Trey is doing wrong, and then we can move on from there.
Cowboy Nation.
I was waiting for it.
You know it's coming. It's close. Just wait. Just 2 more weeks and it's on. Or 3 more weeks, but
I can't wait. Gotta get this fantasy football thing started. I gotta send you guys invites.
You don't want no problems, big fella.
Thanks for listening to the New Channel Sports Podcast. Leave comments. Please rate the podcast with 5 stars. And don't forget to subscribe. Check out the podcast daily for sports news and scores. Thursdays for the take of the week. And every Tuesday and Saturday for discussions on hot sports topics.